I'm Hiri. I'm Hiri, very happy. How's it going, guys? Where are you? Guys? Ok. Palhaçadas à parte, eu estou aqui. Como é que vocês estão? Meio merda, mas tô indo. Eu tinha lido as partes 3, 4 e 5. Eu acabei de rever na última live. A live número 53. Então, deixa eu ver. Nós temos aqui o John, o Dave e o Carkit. Nós temos a Rosemary, basicamente, com a Roxy. Tem também a VRISKA com a Kanaya e o Carkit. Tem o Echo Sprite com as Scourge Sisters com o Dave, isso vai ser bom. E tem os dois de óculos aqui, o John e o Jake. Eu acho que eu vou começar com as Scourge Sisters e o Carkit, pra já, né, tirar isso do meu sistema. Aliás, Scourge Sisters não, né, a VRISKA com a Kanaya. How's it going over there? I told them I would leave them alone and go talk to some trolls. I guess this troll over here will have to do. Happy to be of service. Man, look at them. They all seem so excited. Like a bunch of wigglers hopped up on high fructose grub sauce. I hope they don't crash from this reunion bus too hard before it's showtime. If they do, I'm sure one of your contingency plans will swing into full effect. Maybe you can buy time for everyone to recover by lulling our adversaries into an extensive strategy session. Hey Mariam, why don't you can it? Our sassy little games of one-upmanship are fun and all, but I'm trying to be sincere here. You know, seeing as this is the last time I'll see you all in a while. You're right, sorry. Bring on the sincerity. I was just saying about the humans. They seem so happy. Deixa eu abaixar o volume aqui da música que eu tô achando muito alto no fone que eu tô usando. Ok, melhorou. I mean, look at Rose. No offense, but most of the time she's kind of a pill. None taken, and me too, probably. Good point. But I don't think I've ever seen her like that. By which I mean, making no discernible effort whatsoever to disguise the fact that she's happy. Well, okay. Maybe there were a couple times. Is that in reference to how you like to flagrantly spy on us sometimes? I don't spy on you. That is such an unfair characterization. Would you can it with that shit already? I'll never understand your ongoing and apparently unironic use of the phrase can it. And in particular, why you always seem to direct this expression to me and seemingly no one else. I just think it is such a peculiar and amusing way to tell someone to be quiet. What? Why? No, that's a normal way of putting it. I mean, it's a pretty normal thing to say, right? When you want someone to pipe down. Pipe down isn't even much better. It's just a funny thing to say, and the fact that you don't realize it makes it funnier. I think the underlying explanation is that you are just funnier that you realize or try to be. It is something to like about you. O jeito como a Kanaya parece ser sem pretensão, soar passiva-agressiva, é estranho. I guess I'll have to accept your sass as a compliment then. And no, I don't spy on you. I just check in with you sometimes to see how you're doing. Fala, Xande. Boa noite, como vai? Grata, muito grata. Okay, if that's how you want to put it. Fala, véi de batata, tudo bom? You involve yourself in many private matters without even offering the pretense of doing otherwise. To think that, at one point, I was regarded as the meddlesome one. Look, it just so happens that I care very deeply for all my friends and want to make sure they're doing alright on a somewhat regular basis. Is that a crime? In some societies, violating the privacy of others in certain ways, yes, I believe so. I understand your motives, though, and really, this is just me giving you a hard time. I never got why everyone treats their romantic affairs as so private. What's the big deal? So you like to do some smooching and stuff with another person. Maybe get over yourselves? Karkat is the worst offender. You'd think he was charged with guarding state secrets. Newsflash, buddy, nobody gives a fuck. It sounds like you very much give a fuck, though. Hey, why don't you cut me some slack? I don't hold anyone to standards I don't hold myself to. That's a lie, that's bullshit. I'm very open about my relationships. My more real gens with Terezi? Ask me anything. I have nothing to hide. We'll throw our diamonds up in your face like we're making a getaway. We don't even give a fuck. If you can't take the stench, then get out of the mill block. Same with any Ashen liaisons I've been involved with over the years. With over the years. What's the big deal? I have to admit to being impressed with your strangely natural proficiency with auspisticism. It is an incredibly difficult quadrant to master and very emotionally taxing, I find, in a way that conflicts with the pursuit of relationships in other quadrants. I can't ignore that during our trip you probably diffused a lot of unpleasant situations before they started. But when it comes to matters of privacy and such, and which forms of expression people feel at ease showing in public, payer relationships are really different, I think. What about the other kind? Seems to me you have not been involved in any, so I'm not sure you really understand. Oh, I just don't have time for anything like that in my life right now. Red and black relationships are so absorbing. I have a strong pair relationship which is very important to me, but that's about all I can handle. Maybe later on, when the dust settles from this crazy adventure, I'll consider it. But for now, this is all I can deal with. I just have too many irons in the fire, you know? I know all about the irons. I have heard rumors of this alleged fire as well. So, what are they talking about? What? All your buddies over there. We were still talking about that. It's ridiculous how easily we all get sidetracked by romantic blather. Oh, family stuff mainly. It's pretty fascinating, sociologically speaking, I mean. Their idea of families. The idea of siblings is strange enough. People who are genetically similar and grow up together. Spending all that time with Dave and Rose, you started getting a sense for it. Like the logic of it. How it must have shaped Earth society. But also its inherent ridiculousness. Sharing a residence with your near clone while growing up? So preposterous. But then you add the idea of parents, and suddenly it's complete madness. Our society was so individualistic and that all seemed so normal and reasonable. So I look over there and see two Lelons and a Strider, and there's a whole other Strider on the way, and A human family starts striking me as not so much a social unit, so much as like an infestation. Yeah, well, I'll say an entire other strider does sound like a bit too much. A bit much. On top of what is already quite a spectacle. Maybe we just don't get it? Of course we don't. That's my point. I mean, we have ancestors, but under normal circumstances, it's pretty much unheard of to imagine you'd ever get the chance to meet them. We had the unusual privilege of meeting most of ours, or at least certain versions of them. But that's still just an one person lineage. It's really simple and comprehensible. Human lineage is just a huge clusterfuck if you ask me. There's a certain advantage to it though. Their decentralized propaganda makes it a lot more likely their race will persist. The same cannot be said for ours. I still often wonder if we are the last of our kind. You're still doubtful about whether you can hatch a new mother grub? Yeah. More than doubtful, I say. You shouldn't lose faith. I'm not even the slightest bit worried about whether you can do it. When you get a chance, just brainstorm about it with the Lalondes. They tend to be full of ideas. Anyway, try not to get down about it. I have a good feeling. Get down about what? Get down, do get it up, get it up, get it up, get it up. Okay. A particular obligation I have yet to fulfill. I sense she possesses some intelligence on the matter she wishes to be cagey about, so I guess that part of the conversation has been concluded. Obligation? VRISKA, have you been dishing more dirt on your strategy before formally bringing our meeting back to order? Pretty sloppy leadership move if you ask me. Karkat, it had nothing to do with your and Kanaya's upcoming roles in this campaign. It was a more private matter pertaining to Kanaya's broader significance to the future of our people. I'll be very clearly spelling out the rules you and she will be playing momentarily. Me and she? As in like, together? What the fuck are we supposed to be doing together? You'll find out. Great, I'm so glad. At this point, I only ever feel angst or even the slightest sense of agitation in my soul to the precise extent that I worry VRISKA might not have all of our fortunes completely mapped out already. I'm beginning to hyperventilate slightly less just thinking about it. Good to hear, Karkat. Almost as cool as it is to see you yelled yourself out with John and Dave already, and have decided to come clock in some yelling time with us. Your ability to dig deep down and find a second wind is really quite astonishing. I shudder to think that would happen to this party if we ran out of its most precious natural resource. Burned, owned, devastated. What more is there to say? Nothing really, unless you want whatever pitiful tatters of your self-image you have left to get par-pissed on by Godquin Circuit herself yet again. Either that, or one could ruminate fondly over the heavenly rat-forked reality wherein she was stabbed in the back by her Morville, and we all got to live out the fucking bliss that the timeline must have been. That timeline might have been. Just think of the peace and quiet we would have had on the Meteor. It was probably more than worth the price of cannonballing ass first into some sort of massacre trap. VRISKA Circuit, making the living envy the hypothetical dead since whenever it was she started doing that. Way to stick the landing on that barb, genius. Barb. Barrate? Barb? I appreciate that you are just moseying over to arbitrarily drum up some utterly meaningless contention between us, but it's like I've said before many times, Karkat, I'm not interested. Ouch! Slaughtered again! Hehehe! Don't listen to her, Kanaya. It's like this running gag she does all the time to own me. What? It's this funny thing we do, or mainly she does. Always implying that I've been spades crushing on her and getting shut down. It never stops being hilarious. First of all, as if she can prove anything. Second, if we're being totally fair here, more than a few of her snappy comebacks are arguably more tinged with that sort of eyebrow-cocking hostility than anything I've ever said to her. Maybe makes one a little suspicious, no? That maybe there's some projection going on here. Just saying. Alright, car kid. I'm going to leave you here to dig yourself into whatever embarrassing hole you seem intent on digging. I'm going to keep working the crowd a bit. As you know, a leader's job is never done. See ya! Bye! Maybe try acting a little more gracious in defeat next time. Just a little advice from one leader to another. She's gone, and I think you needed to come up with that comeback a little faster. Yeah, damn. I think as a friend, it would behoove me to, confide somewhat about the realities of pursuing anything with her. Wait, what? Kanaya, you weren't taking that pathetic, jokey, unrequited background stuff seriously, were you? Let's imagine that my attitude toward the joking or no non-joking status of that is perfectly neutral, while I just say these things. Aside from the fact that she literally just got finished telling me she wasn't interested in any non-payo relationships, I think that would be a blind alley regardless. I admit this from experience and not without chagrined hesitation. But only frustration and heartbreak are down that road. Oh? She's turned out to be a tremendous partner in payo relationships. Maybe even, a bit freakishly so? But anything stronger than that, I think would probably be disastrous. She's way too focused and self-absorbed to maintain such strong feelings for long. She would need to learn to let go of some of her ambition and figure out how to prioritize the feelings of other people. She might even figure out how to be happy. Yeah, well, I chill just ran up my posture pole trying to imagine that. You know? I don't know if I've ever told you, but you have a really impressive grasp over romantic analysis. Oi, Rica, tudo bom com você? Como vai você? Well, I have read a lot of novels too. I just don't brag much about it, because it would literally be preposterous to do so. Tô meio meme, mas eu tô bem. We should be jamming on this subject more. Maybe explore some of my more advanced theories. We're surrounded by amateurs in this field, so it gets a bit frustrating. Well, the mayor's a good sounding board at least. When I want to bounce some of my more out there ideas off someone. Why don't we schedule an academic conference sometime? Just you, me, and the mayor. Oh, fuck yes! Tá, eu acabei de ler esse. Agora vamos pra esse aqui. Não. Esse aqui eu já li? Já, né? Porque eu li o 3, 4, 5 e agora eu li o 6. Vamos pra esse aqui? Vamos. Tá vindo especial de Doctor Who! Obrigado por me lembrar. Inclusive, deixa eu pôr o som da Tardes aqui pra acordar todo mundo. Fala pessoal, tá vindo aí especial de Doctor Who, vão ser 3 especiais pra comemorar os 60 anos da série, hein? 60 anos não é pra qualquer um, meu Deus do céu. E a gente vai comemorar junto no domingo de tarde assistindo o primeiro especial. Ele vai sair no Disney Plus no sábado e a gente vai ver no domingo. A Raid, né? Nossa, que saudade desse barulho pra fazer Raid. Muito bom, muito bom. I'm sorry. Sorry about what? For stammering and all, being an agog grinning idiot. I just cannot actually believe you are real and here and alive and not dying, and so am I. Here with you, I mean, plus sharing all those mentioned attributes. I can't believe it either. I have so much to say, I think. Even though I can't think of this stuff at the moment. I know what you mean. I hope it's okay if I just sit near you, not being especially articulate for a bit. That is more than okay. As long as you are willing to similarly excuse the spectacular demise of my capacity for artful self-expression. Oh my god, you're Dirk! Whoa, whoa, I just caught it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You sound so much like him. Oh my god, that's super fun cute. Dirk? I can't get over it now. I can't unhear it. Even your voice sounds kinda like his, but it's just girl Dirk. LMAO, whoa, yes. He sounds like a hell of a guy. Oh, you have no idea. Well, I'm told he should be arriving here in a little while. If he's anything like Dave's late older brother, and if he's anything like me, which he apparently is, then this is when I'm guessing the real party will begin. I'm ready. I want to know things about him, such as if he shares his elder counterpart's avarice for soft puppet ass, and if that combined with his myriad vaguely unsettling psychological peculiarities could occupy a dedicated team of therapists for years. The answer is yes and yes. Knowing this amuses me for some reason, but mainly there are things I want to know about you. I presume there will be plenty of time later to hound my biological father for the dirt on his proclivities. What do you want to know about me? Everything! I think the main difficulty in deciding what to ask is in sifting questions I would have for my mother. That is to say, the woman who raised me, from the questions I have for you. Well, I didn't raise you or anything, but I can sincerely take a crack at both kinds of questions. Okay, do you really like wizards? Rose? Yes. Rose? Rose! I fucking love wizards! I see. As odd as it sounds, that actually does go pretty far in letting me know something about both of you. Oh? My relationship with her was complicated, but I've come to see that as mostly my fault. I was too young to understand her. I never even got a chance to misunderstand my mom, or grown-up you, or... I didn't get to misunderstand her in person. More like as a legendary figure, because I grew up 400 years after she died. Oh, right. I think I'm going to have to call the contest early. Yours is the more interesting biography by quite a lot. Not really. Not to me, at least. I was lonely. I thought about her a lot to pass the time. She was pretty amazing, at least according to history. She wrote hella books about wizards and wrote the genocide of fat men down a waterfall of blood. She wrote hella books about wizards? Yeah. They were famous and good and everything. It sounds like I fumbled into the wrong line of work. There's no money in this burbs business. Well, there is. It just comes in incredibly stupid denominations, which are not particularly useful. Do you have copies of these books? Yes. Yes, I do. There are copies back on my planet. Assuming John didn't retcon them away like a book-thieving sneak. I would really love to read them sometime if you wouldn't mind. No, not at all. By the way, this is Kanaya. Sorry for the combination of bad manners and general dumb fondness, which precluded a more timely introduction. Hello. Hey, that's a nice name and also you're pretty. Thank you. I admire the aesthetics of your name and appearance as well, and in no small part due to their respective similarity to your daughters. Wow, man, that was somehow both a convoluted thing to say yet smooth as hell. Impressed? Welcome to Marion City. Population, a whole lot of great remarks like that. But yes, I'll get you those books. They're great. They made me want to write my own wizard books. Did you? Yeah, sorta. Could I read them? Hey, you got to read mine. Yeah, but you were like an old pro when you wrote yours. They are a freaking masterpiece wizard fix. They won Pulitzers and shit. Did they really? I don't know, probably. Oh. I don't know, they're just very good. So, the ancient prize scholars, I'm sure, were like, dude, these wizards are very fucking good. Give them all the awards, then shut down the awards, but not because of the looming apocalypse. Just because you literally cannot do better than these wizards. I can live with that. It's always been one of my professional goals to write tales of magical men so provocative they would cause the permanent and unceremonious dissolution of at least one prestigious award. Prestigious. So yeah, I don't know, I guess you can see. But it's a pale ghost of a story compared to your stuff, and it's also, kind of weird. I like weird. Yeah. Just, your opinion means a lot to me, and I'm nervous you might think it sucks. But I never even wrote the masterpiece you read. I think you may have a view of my abilities which I haven't earned yet. Really, I'm not that good. I have my own story drafts which you can read if you like. They're nothing special, frankly. Oh, really? Oh man, okay, then that sounds fun. If during your manuscript exchange you need someone to read over your shoulder, say, to proofread, or to purge each sentence of punctuation and capitalize the first letter of every word, I'd be happy to volunteer. Strictly professionally, of course, and not because I really want to read your wizard things too. I really want to read your wizard things too. I hope that's okay. Yeah, sure, it's okay. Kanaya, sorry, me and Rose are babbling away here to each other. We don't mean to be excluding you. It's fine. I'm thoroughly enjoying my role as a spectator. I know that Rose has been looking forward to this a lot, and that she received similarly vicarious and politely passive enjoyment from the interactions I had with my ancestor. So now I'll just resume the politely passive part of it, haha. You don't gotta. Jumping whenever you're feeling it. I love meeting new trolls. Well, at least when they're not evil or something. Love them, not evil trolls. Like the cranky one over there in red ruby shades. Drezzy. Yeah, she's a boss. That's a pretty fair way to describe the attitude of anyone higher than me on the Hemu spectrum. But yes, you are right. Oh, also, lest we forget dear Fafetta. Fafetta? Do you mean Feferi? No, Fafetta. She was a dear precious soul. She was my sprite. Guess never happened in this version of stuff though. Dang. That's sad, but maybe not quite as sad as her existing then exploding? I'm confused. Wonder what even else is different. Well, you died too. I did? Yes, while pushing me out of the way of a fork. So thank you for that retroactively, and to a different version of you. Jeez. Yeah, I had a similar thing happen in my timeline, also involving a fork. And even though you're okay now, it's still almost too sad to even talk about. Yeah. We didn't get to exchange even a single word before you were gone. All I could think was, how can this be happening again? Luckily, the sense of misery was short-lived though. It wasn't long before I was informed the incident was part of something bigger taking shape, and that John was on his way with a different version of you. I had no idea what a different version actually entailed, but I wasn't about to quibble. I was so relieved. Same, although instead of waiting for you to come back, I had to jump through all these hoops with John. and went through some different stuff. I may have thrown an impromptu funeral for your alt-you dead body. You did? Yep. Sorry if that sounds weird, and I knew I was coming to meet a new version of you, but it helped me with, like, feelings about people I left behind. A funeral. Wow, that... Sorry for this, if it comes off as odd, but that is so mom of you. Oh yeah? I like your mom. Mom, me too. No, bonitinhas. I don't mean to be too analytical about getting to know you, really. I guess comparisons are a little hard for me to avoid, since the adult version of you played such a significant role in my life. So I can't help being the similarities when they are there. But also, you are so clearly your own person, shaped by your own experiences, and that is the person I would prefer to get to know, rather than a young avatar for the memory of a departed parent. Yet, this is the context which somewhat inescapably colors my perception of what you reveal. So, while some observations are in the vein of predictable, charmingly so, mind you, others I regard as surprising. What about me surprising? Well, you aren't... You don't quite seem like a person who, I don't want to ask anything that would sound rude to you or spiteful to her, because I don't feel that conflicted about this anymore. Particularly since I had my own troubles with it, so it would be pretty hypocritical. Conflicted about what? Let me back up a little. It was a long ride on that meteor. One experiences things over a few years, given a lot of time to think, changes and such. About halfway through, I started thinking more about Mom and about you. Knowing that I'd probably meet you and, I don't know, live up to the experience. It's silly, but I'm guessing you understand what I mean. Basically, I was just nervous. And it was all mixed up with feelings of conflict and remorse over my mother, who, to my hazy pre-teen recollection, never wasted a day in my life on sobriety. She and her habit put all those days to quite effective use, actually, and I don't even quite remember the thought process that led to this, but I sort of ran with it too. The habit, I mean, for a while at least. I was still distraught about losing her, and wanted to understand her, to connect with her in some way, and I guess that was the only idea I had. And on some level, I think connecting with her was also a way of preparing myself to meet you, even though that probably makes no sense. Since you aren't really literally her and don't share all her... I guess I shouldn't speak of you for you though. So you're saying you're surprised I'm unlike her in that way cause I don't seem like someone who'd get drunk off her ass all the time? Well, I guess I should be flattered if you really think so, but... wrong. So, you... My story is kind of like yours. I had a mom I never knew, and wanted to feel close to her however I could. I grew up mostly unsupervised in her old house, and it had all this old stuff in it, plus some old booze squirreled away here and there. And I just started up even though I was way too young for shit like that. Whoops. And like I said, it was a bit light on discipline around then. It's not like a bunch of silly pumpkin eaters were gonna stop me. Pumpkin eaters. Chess guys. Loads of them. But yeah, I wanted to be like her and do what she did, but mostly just made a hot catastrophe of myself. I doubt that is what she wanted. At the time, it seemed like a cool thing a real intellectual and mysterious book celebrity would would do, while also leading a badass and secretly subversive life in a position of tyranny. But I think what is more likely is she knew the whole world would end and everyone would die no matter what she did, which was probably hard to live with. I don't know if I can blame the old lady for wanting to get a wee bit sauced after a couple of rapping clowns won a presidential election. Yeah, Wait, what? Wait, what? Clowns? Long story, bad story. Please continue. Okay, yes, I'm sure my mother knew the end was coming too. Knowing that helped put a lot of her behavior in context for me. I was always too young to understand. Poor mums. Poor, added that sexy lady us. Truth. But anyway, back to us. Kid alive, sexy lady us. Yeah. It sounds like your Rose had an incredible career, but all things considered, I prefer being Kid Alive's lady sexy lady me. Agree? I know what you mean about being nervous, about meeting you, I mean. Maybe nervous isn't quite right, but when I started thinking about meeting you is when I started thinking I should try being not quite such a mess. So I started taking the idea of cleaning up my act more seriously. Ultimately, I concluded the same thing. I decided it wouldn't be a very dignified way to make an entrance, or for that matter, a very constructive way to help out in a struggle to preserve reality. Luckily, I was able to cut it out a while ago. I admit it wasn't easy, but it helped a lot to have people around looking out for me. Poke. Fala, Vimones, como vai tu? Deixa eu tomar uma água aqui.
Watermelon sugar.
Sid spoked. Yeah, I had friends help me too. I couldn't done it without them either. I never had IRL friends before this trip. It's interesting to observe the various ways they apply themselves to your benefit. Some people are around to make you feel like you're worth sticking with, even when you fuck up. And some people are around to kick your ass to make sure you don't. I think I had to play the later role to my friends a lot. The latter. And also to myself, I guess. Who kicked your ass? Was it Yali guy over there? No, Karkut was mostly preoccupied with his own shenanigans. The yelling is deceptive. He's a rather private person. VRISKA, however, she really is quite an extravagant bitch. LMAO. But it turns out people like that tend to have some convenient assets. Such as the sheer force of personality to keep a bunch of idiots from falling apart. Don't get me wrong, it's quite annoying, but useful. Yeah. I probably should have been more of a bitch to all my peeps. Maybe we wouldn't have gone to jail and died. Let it be a lesson to us all. Seriously though, it's so nice hearing your stories. Ai, eu vou baixar essa imagem aqui porque eu achei ela muito fofinha. Cara, a Roxy é a melhor personagem. Especially the similarities of stuff we experienced. Wizards and writing and mom stuff and even bad things we went through. And obviously we're similar by DNA and all. But even so, it still feels comforting that even if you flip the universe upside down and change it all around, pull us apart by centuries, kill humans off, flood the world, we're still connected to each other in a mysterious way that goes beyond genes and circumstance. And that, I think, is some tight freaking noise to consider. I'm considering it right now, and yes, that noise, it is so tight. Hey, what are we talking about over here? Damn it, Dave. Então, essa cara aqui é tipo elas felizinhas, né? Só que eu tô tão acostumada a essa cara ser tipo uma pessoa feliz com uma lagriminha escorrendo, que, né? Oh, eu acabei de ler o número 2 e mais cedo eu tinha lido o número 6. Vamos nesse aqui. Só os meninos. A live tava atrasada? Ah, eu não sei. Tipo, antes, uma hora antes de eu começar a live, deu uma super chuva pra cá. Uma chuva incrível. Uma chuvona. Do balacobaco. Mas seja bem-vindo. Eu vou tomar água de novo, gente.
Watermelon sugar.
So, tell me about your ridiculous meteor journey. The Dave from the bad timeline told me some funny stories when we got together on the grassy hill planet. Nossa, ficou um chuvão aqui do nada, começou um ventão, uma chuvona. Aí ficou um tempo. Tô meio meh, mas tô indo. Tá de boas. Dá pra viver. But we weren't actually hanging out for that long, so I didn't hear much. Also, I'm mostly sure VRISKA wasn't alive during their trip. Oh well, let me tell you. VRISKA was most certainly alive during this one, like almost extra alive, if that's possible. I think I know what you mean. I spent some time with her when she was a ghost, and let's just say, whatever her mortality status is, she makes her presence hard to ignore. Yes, yes, I love this. Can we spend our whole reminiscence just destroying VRISKA slightly above audible level? Ai, Carcat, eu te amo, cara. Slightly? Carcat, you only have one volume setting. VRISKA, eu te amo também. Wow, fuck you? Ah, valeu. Só pensando demais mesmo. Okay, dude, maybe let's not spend our Paul time trash talking circuit, if only cause there's no way you're not getting repeatedly trounced exactly just like that. Yeah, you're right. Okay, out you out. You're right, Dave, as usual. Wow. Carcat, for a funny shouty guy, you backed down on that really fast. I'm almost a bit disappointed. I was looking forward to more of your patent ravens. Hey, John Fuckbert, I'll have you know I'm a little more mature and reasonable than the last time you saw me. I'm a lot more than Mr. Howler Sponge One Note, and anyone who disputes this can cordially invite me to play their dirty seed flap like a discount harmonica. Oh, well, I'm sewed. Seriously though, it's pretty cute to finally meet you. I mean, under more civil, rational circumstances. Unlike whatever the fuck that brief encounter was 3 years ago when you KO'd VRISKA and then poofed your flimsy ass into the fuck-all continuum. I know I seemed really mad about that at the time for whatever reason, but really, I've had so many boring hours on that meteor to spend barely reflecting on the roughly 10,000 ways I don't give the slightest fuck about whatever idiotic twist of fate transpired back there. Okay. I'm completely over it. I'm over a lot of things, actually. You are? Yeah. Like, remember back when I was yelling at you all the time from my computer? Back then, I probably would have felt nervous or awkward about this encounter because of, well, you know. No? I was hitting on you briefly and in a very confusing non-chronological way without even quite realizing how badly I was shoving my strut pod down in my own statement tunnel, dude. I mean, until you mercifully and with a fair amount of tact shut me down, don't you remember? Maybe? How can you not remember that? I don't know, it was a long time ago. And we had a lot of ridiculous conversations. Okay, well, maybe it was a bigger deal for me than it was for you. I mean, obviously it was. That's sort of the whole point. But the real point is, or that I was trying to make, is that it isn't a big deal anymore, because I'm over it. Carget, what the fuck are you doing? What? I'm talking quite casually about some shit that's not a big deal. And the point is that it's not a big deal anymore, so I'm just casually saying that. God. Okay, it's not an unreasonable conversation to have, but like, we just started friend jamming about past anecdotes to get us all up to speed or whatever, and you're already trucking out these guns. Guns? What guns? Just saying. It doesn't sound that casual and no big deal if you keep saying it's casual and no big deal. Oh, and also, it's the first fucking thing out of your mouth show to John in 3 years. Sorry. I'm so truly fucking sorry. I forgot there was such a outstandingly smooth pile of shit in a cape within my judgment radius. No, I mean, I think I remember. I think you were black flirting with me or something, but in backwards order and while constantly yelling, and I didn't really even know what that was. And then I told you I wasn't a homosexual, so it was kind of a mute point. But also, you didn't even know what that was either. Yes, that's basically what happened. And that is exactly what I was trying to say I was over. And wasn't a big deal anymore. But now it's a big deal again, I guess? That's fucking great. Thanks, Dave. Yo, I'm hardly one to talk here, since I am a goddamn geyser of hilariously self-pulverizing Freudian bloopers. At this point, I can't even pretend to keep lid on any shit I've got in me, cause I know sooner or later, during one of my rad soliloquies, I'll just pratfall butt backwards into an embarrassing admission, and I just have to be like, yeah, okay, that's my shit, that's what I'm about, let's just get the fuck on with our lives. So, when John's like, hey man, and you're all locked and loaded with some stuff about how you're over him and go on and on about it, it's like some way obvious protest too much shit and everybody knows it, so I don't see how it salvages any of your dignity or whatever to pretend that's not what's happening. Oh my fucking god. So what I'm saying is, if you're so eager to push this out there, I'm not pushing this out there. If you're pushing this out there, which you are, then maybe we should rap about it. I mean, discuss it critically and earnestly, not drop ill rhymes or anything, though that could be sweet too. So you are sure you still don't have these unreconciled black rum feelings about John? I say we air this out before it ferments into some rank and hella unexamined filling sauce. Dave, I think you're making Carket uncomfortable. Are you being a wise guy in trying to make us uncomfortable? No. I don't do that to bros, that's huge and cool. I don't see what has to be uncomfy about chatting out our true ass thoughts and emotions. Dude, you clearly had a spades thing for John, but I don't recall you ever bringing it up. Is this something you've been thinking about all this time, or... No, not really. Yeah, we could have talked about this. I have all kinds of shit to say about John, seeing as he was my number one dude for approximately the majority of 13 years. The main dead end here, man, is like... nothing personal at all, it's just that he's literally incapable of hating anyone. I know that! That is the exact fucking thing I knew and understood, and why I felt so stupid about it in hindsight. Well, not that I really want to egg on this train of thought, but I don't know if that's quite true. It's not? I can get really angry and hate stuff too, just like you. But I think only in extreme cases. The school guy in suspenders I got really pissed off at. But I am 100% sure that hate was platonic. Getting pissed off at a suspender dude sounds like just a sort of yarn I wanna be all ears for some time. But okay, that's something to work with. Hey, Carkit, maybe there's some hope yet. Maybe it's not a total lost cause. Okay, Dave, it definitely sounds like you're trying to own us now. On? What? No way! I'm being real as a motherfucker. Being able to hate things, I think, is the smaller part of what equation. What about the other part? Don't you think that's a little more significant? What part? The part about not being a homosexual? John, dude, I gotta say, when you talk about being or not being a homosexual, you kinda sound like a corny old man. What? Why? No, that's a normal way of putting it. I mean, it's a pretty normal thing to say, right? When that's how you are? Somebody fucking kill me. What does normal mean though? Normal was some crap that ruled our dead civilization. We left that behind years ago. It's all a huge pile of shit that doesn't matter anymore. Okay? So then you're saying... What are you saying? I'm not sure, I guess. Okay, I guess what I'm saying is... I don't think it's all as simple as you think it is. Or maybe not actually... Not actively think it is, but continue to assume it is on account of not thinking about it much. Due to a lot of junk about the subject that gets shoved into our brains from movies and stuff while we were just dumb kids. I'm just saying, it probably isn't an absolute or simplistic as the way you've been framing it. Or maybe it is for you personally, I don't know. I'm just guessing you haven't spent much time thinking about it, if only cause all the stuff we read and watched suggests that, like, even examining your honest thoughts about it is perilous road to go down. Cause if you actually think too much about it without always having that undercurrent of haha nope, then what happens? What if it turns out you're like not exactly the way you thought you were? Or maybe not so much that as old presumptions about what you were turned out be not that relevant? Why? Why are these words happening to our conversation? I don't know, man. Not sure what you've been doing the last 3 years, or riding a large boat, then saving everyone from apocalyptic whatever. But I've had a fuck ton of time in my hands to think about stuff. About stuff I've said and done in the past, why I said and did them. A lot of things I once would have insisted were like part of my brand and helped me come across cool and smart SC, but now I'm not so sure. We used rip on each other all the time for being gay, even though we knew we weren't, which of course is what made it funny, remember? Yeah, I don't know, it was pretty funny sometimes. It was just a lot of joking around. Yeah, I know. It frankly is funny to say how gay something is sometimes, and let's face it, sometimes someone or something is just flat out really fucking gay, and there's no two ways about it. It's more like that, though. The preponderance of all that jokey shit is an underlying implication that it's all lame stuff for pansies, but not like us. No, we're not lame, and haha, that's the joke. Which thrives on this double bird implication that the real cool shit is founded on this absurd, wanky ideal about masculinity, which if you think about it is 1. Dumb as fuck, 2. The male adulation of masculinity to that extent, to be honest, is pretty fucking gay unto itself, and 3. Was always some totally impossible shit for us to live up to anyway. I think all that's mixed up with the same phony ideals about heroism, like living up to the storybook idea of what a hero to me feels almost interchangeable with living up to society's snapshot of what a hard, manly dude should be. I stopped pretending I could ever live up to either thing a while ago. and mainly have spent the time looking back on the sheer magnitude of all my joking around. I used to lambast fuckers left and right, grinding them into the pavement over how gay they probably were and how much they were quite possibly jonesing to kiss some dudes or such. And I don't really feel bad about it in the sense that it was jerky or like insensitive necessarily, even though I guess it maybe was. More that I feel like it was probably transparent, a massive front of outrageous snark to disguise a lot of insecurity, like a fucking cover-up. As long as I kept clowning hard about it, I didn't actually have to think about it or face my actual beliefs. Basicamente, quando o Dave e o John eram mais novos, eles ficavam brincando muito sobre uma coisa ser gay ou não. Só que como eles não são gays, pelo menos na época eles diziam que não eram gays, então ficava só na, entre aspas, piada. E daí o Dave tá dizendo que ele passou 3 anos viajando e ele teve muito tempo livre para pensar sobre as coisas e para pensar sobre si mesmo e quem ele é. E ele se entendeu nesses 3 anos como sendo gay. Tipo, basicamente ele entendeu que essas, entre aspas, piadas, comentários que ele fazia quando criança, era tudo mascarado pela insegurança dele e pelos ideais que ele tinha, que a sociedade tinha colocado na cabeça dele, que era ser machão. Então ele levou anos pra descobrir isso. E tá tudo bem. Dave, all that's cool and all, and I think I mostly agree, but how do I put this? Are you gay now? What? No. The words, why won't the words stop? Dear God. I don't know. It sounds to me like you're trying to tell me something here. Man, no, look. I mean, it's okay if you're gay now. That's totally cool if true. I just think you turning gay would be kind of a weird consequence of me changing the timeline around. Okay, not weird, just unexpected. I don't know what I did that would account for that. Maybe saving one of Teresa's plush toys did some goofy homosexual butterfly effect thing on you. Jeez, who knows? Dave tá dizendo que não. Será que ele é bi? Dude, you aren't listening. Although a gay butterfly effect is a pretty fun idea, let's not dismiss that as a concept altogether. Anyway, maybe what I'm trying to say is sort of getting lost in the weeds here. The fact that you were wondering if I turned gay makes me think maybe you're still not quite on the wavelength I'm trying to ramble on here. Maybe we should wrestle this topic to the ground another time. There's a lot more I'd want to say, but this is probably not the venue. I mean, not literally wrestle to the ground, because that is maybe literally the gayest course of action we could possibly take, but you know what I mean. Yes, later. Talk later, because then the words would stop. Oh, wouldn't that be lovely? That's fine, we can talk about anything you want, anytime. I'm just too confused about what you're getting at, it's all. Like, what is the bottom line here? Are you actually attracted to boys now? Did you, like, date any boys? But there weren't even that many boys on the meteor? Well, there's a clown guy, but I don't really see you and him. That really only lives, where you and Karkit. Are you and Karkit, like, No. I retreat to my safe place, and yet the words, the stupid fucking Preto joking like rowdy barn beasts up against the partitions of good fucking sense and the most basic of personal boundaries. The goddamn blitter of tactless nincompoops, how it continues to haunt my wretched ears. The words spill over the side of this enchanted metal frog discuss, like a babbling spring in a mythical forest governed by a guild of gossip-hungry lobotomy hobbits. This deluge of words, leaked from the incontinent crevice of 2 brainless gushing yammer twats. It's overfloweth. Oh, how it's overfloweth, soggy my grey practical pair of pants, the legging of a simple man. A humble man. It then continued its downward trickle, dousing my unremarkable shirt, The serviceable garment of your average Alternian Joe, chilling the frail torso beneath, a pathetic duffel of meat wrecked with heavy sobs, sobs caused by words, words which continue to drip and sluice and spill, threatening to drown me, pledging to, promising, and yet I will not drown. Why won't I drown? Please, let me drown, so the words will be no more. Dave, I'm pretty sure we're making Karkat uncomfortable now. Yeah, maybe we should drop this. Okay. I don't know if you ever picked this up from him, but he's a pretty sensitive guy. What? No. It's true. He's pretty much the easiest dude to rip on and makes for an irresistible target, but you also have to know where to draw the line. Really don't wanna actually, like, upset him. Yeah, me neither. What the fuck is he doing? Man, I don't know. That's just his regular shit. Like an everyday occurrence but with different bodily positions and geographic configurations. I see. Bro, I will get the fuck up here. Will you get the fuck up here? No. Okay, suit yourself. Homestuck também merece uma série animada? Sim. Não sei se dá... não sei se dá pra fazer, mas merece. Sim, dá, né? Merece. Mas que vai ser complicado, vai. Tá. Tava bebendo água aqui, inclusive.
Watermelon sugar.
Anyway. Né, Rica? Quando será que vai terminar a minha leitura aqui? Eu calculo até fevereiro, mas eu não sei. As you can see, I've been spending probably way too much time with trolls. It messes with you. Get you thinking about stuff, you know? I can imagine. I think life was a lot more boring on the ship. But we talked about you all a lot. We would always wonder how you and Rose were managing to get along with all those crazy trolls. I think mostly we pictured a lot of arguments. That's not too far off. I'm still getting used to having such insane, limitless powers that let me go anywhere I want. It's tempting to go to time periods like yours and find out what I missed. But I don't want to mess with too much anymore, since it seems like I got the timeline to a nice, stable place as it is. So I guess I just have to do what any regular guy does and imagine fondly what it would be like if I got to travel with you guys. I wonder if I would have gotten like absorbed in troll culture too, or troll ways of thinking. It's really inevitable. You pick up the lingo, they pick up yours. It's like a stupid cultural melange after a while that barely makes any sense from either frame of reference. I wonder if I would have learned to understand black romance. It's such a goofy idea, but it seems pretty important to trolls. They take all their quadrants pretty seriously, to be honest. Yeah. Years ago, when we first met the trolls, I remember being pretty fascinated by all our cultural differences when Karkat and VRISKA were telling me about them. I remember really sincerely trying to understand it all from their point of view. It's hard though. I still think about the idea of black romance sometimes and try to imagine how that really works or feels. I don't know. Do you understand it? Yeah, I've spent enough time talking about it where I think I get it, but I've never had cause or any real inclination to put into practice or anything. Mainly the idea of hating somebody and translating that into attraction or some kind of romancy feeling. It feels so alien to me. And you're right, I have a really hard time even hating anyone in the first place. Word. I mean, I get annoyed by people, sure. Like who? Me? No, not really. Well, sometimes, but not much. I always tended to exaggerate my grievances with you for the sake of laughs. A better example is more recently, when I was doing my Ratcon mission, I was getting really annoyed with Terezi and her mind games. Yup. It definitely never crossed the line to hate though, because we were working together to try and fix a dire situation, and even though she's weird and insane, she's otherwise a pretty good friend. But all her needling and japes at totally inappropriate times, when there was so much on the line, it was so frustrating. Egbert, I have news for you. Whoa, he's back. Alright, side up and everything. I heard you were talking about quadrants, so I decided to pause my tantrum. John, all you're doing here is describing the subtle feelings which plant the seed for having a killiginous crush on someone. What? You heard me. You are naively admitting to struggling with some black feelings for Terezi. So, there you go, question answered. Turns out you are perfectly capable of black romance. No. A fair rebuttal. However, consider this counterpoint. Yes? Okay, isso foi legal. But I don't hate her, and I'm sure I never will. I'm just saying I find her like somewhat annoying and really aggravating a lot of the time, but that's it. But that's exactly what the feeling is. It doesn't start out as full-blown antipathy, and it rarely even reaches such an extreme level of hostility even over long-term black relationships. There are peaks to it, but otherwise, a general ebb and flow to the dark feelings, just like with flush relationships. Okay, but I don't know if I'm expressing myself clearly. I felt aggravated by her a lot, but that doesn't fully describe, like, there were those negative feelings, but yeah, that's it, right there. The but is always part of it. What you're trying to say is, you had frustrated, negative emotions toward her, but they don't comprehensively account for your attitude toward her. Meaning, there are some things about her you actually like, but the negative feelings make it hard for you to put your finger on them, or even want to acknowledge them. That is absolutely standard. What good would it be having a kismesis who didn't possess qualities you actually admired on some level? That would be boring, and it wouldn't even work. There'd be no tension, no push and pull in the turbulent emotional landscape. The subtle positives add fuel to the negative feelings, often giving them a reason to exist at all. They inflame the aggravating factors, reminding you deep down how much you would like and admire this person if it wasn't for all their infuriating flaws and the incredible sense of frustration that causes along with all the associated hot-headed feelings. That's the essence of black romance. And the positive qualities you see deep down in a kismesis also serve as the basis for red feelings toward that person, assuming the relationship ever starts to vacillate. It's all pretty straightforward, really. No, this is messed up. I don't know, John. It all sounds pretty logical to me. Karkat knows his shit when it comes to quadrants. Ugh, it can be true, though. It feels so fucked up. What if you're right, though? No. That's part of it too. The no is all part of the feeling. That's how it always goes. This sense of self-incrimination when it's dawning on you that you have these conflicting feelings towards someone who bugs you so much. Oh my god, this whole reaction is so fucking textbook. It's hilarious, really. It's fucked up, though. It's supposed to feel fucked up. Oh man. I just wanted to have a nice catch-up chat, not get so transparently owned at the trollmances. It happens to the best of us sooner or later. The scrap's kind of old hat to me by now, but I get why you're kind of freckling at the implications here. You didn't have years of living with trolls to kind of normalize this stuff. I don't think I want it to feel normalized though. I'm not ready to, admit that I have some warped space crush on her based on some feeling I don't understand and makes no sense to me. Oh god, what if it's true? I have to try as hard as I can to suppress this feeling and make sure I never think about it again. Okay, sounds like a Winnie thing to do, but sure, have fun with that. Fuck. Yeah, probably. Just, please don't tell her about any of these, okay guys? John, you don't have to remind us about one of the most fundamental statuses of the bro code, which is practically fucking scripture on my planet, dating back hundreds of millennia. Dave and I fucking sleep and breathe the bro code and all of its clauses, no matter how fine the print. Feel free to come and talk to us about this anytime. Your secrets will always be safe. Dude, that sentiment is well and good, but when you're pledging a vow of secrecy, maybe you should try to keep it down a little. Damn, yeah, sorry. This is really confusing though. Assuming you're right, and I am busted on having those feelings, and I'm not even saying you aren't, but I thought humans weren't supposed to be able to feel stuff like that. Like what, exactly? Like, perceive and feel romantic stuff in the same way trolls do, because we're aliens to each other. Well, okay, humans can feel the gay stuff pretty often, I guess. Oh, yeah, they can. I didn't think we could feel the spade stuff, though. I don't know, I just thought it was some screwy biological difference. Nah, I disagree. Both humans and trolls are emotionally versatile sentient beings that can feel many hells of different things. You're probably right. You would know better than me at least. That's always a smart fallback position too, by the way. Especially on rap. I could school you on rap too. Are you confused about rap? No, Dave. I think I'm pretty squared away on rap. At least for now. So, this has been a hell of a reminiscence so far. Yeah. Seriously though, I wasn't actually intending to fork this, instantaneously in the direction of some, legitimately sincere dialogue on fucking sexuality and romance. I didn't plan on this, dude. You gotta believe me. I didn't plan on this, dude. You gotta believe me. I believe you. It's been cool though. Yeah. Did we cover everything? Probably not? Oh, right. You dated Jade for a while, so there's that. Whoa, what? I mean, Dave's probably dead. Oh. And of course, I mean, the one from my time. Obviously, not the one from this time, who died, I guess, before that happened. Right. Man, that still just seems so sad. I guess, even when you fix things, not everything can be perfect. Yeah, so, how did that go? Me and Jade. Or him and Jade. Okay, I guess. My sense was, it was kind of dramatic overall. I'm not sure it was the best relationship. Probably because of Dave's Sprite's unique issues. But there was a lot of fun memories. I'll tell you about them sometime, maybe when Jade is awake, cause I'm sure she'd want to know too. Yeah. Hey, the girl you came with, Rose's mom. Roxy, yeah. What's she like? She's nice, really nice. She's fun and easy to talk to. It almost feels like she has always been one of our friends, you know? Yeah, how long have you and she actually been traveling together? Not too long. We only met like a day ago, I mean, from my perspective. Huh. She's been through some really difficult stuff recently. Well, we both have actually. But I feel like it was all a bit more personal for her. Being on her adventure, then suddenly losing all her friends and watching Rose die right there, while she'd been kind of viewing Rose as a version of her mom. I was just a goofball drifting randomly here and there between realities, so as I was mostly just confused by everything. But for her, I could tell it was all really devastating. I'm so happy she gets to be with Rose again, not to mention all her other friends. For some reason, I feel happier for her getting to reunite with people she lost than I do for myself. It sounds like you like her. I do. No, I mean, actually like her. Like her. Oh, um, mm, I don't know. Maybe. Well, dude, after one day, maybe you should slow your roll. I didn't say I did, though. I'm joking, it's fine, who cares? Oh, okay. She's my mom, isn't she? Man, I'm not sure if we should keep thinking about our relations that way. Why? It's kind of weird. Is it? Do you feel weird about dating my mom? Is that it? I'm not dating her, though. But if you did, then you wouldn't want to think of her like that because of like the familial weird times it invokes? Jeez, I don't know if I'm ready for every single deep conversation we can squeeze into this wacky rapid fire session of fun Paul talk. Okay, but I think I like thinking of her as my mom, even if it's a little weird. You do? Why? Not sure. I never even stopped and thought about it before. The idea of what it would be like to have a mom. Instead of a hyper aggressive lunatic of an adult male guardian. I never let myself give it a second of consideration. But now, seeing her actually here, even though she's just some teen girl I never met, I like the idea. It's nice. Okay, that's actually kind of cute. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it kind of fucking is. Alright, well. No matter what happens, it's okay with me if you want to think of her that way. Sweet. Oh, sweet. Indeed. Eu li esse, já. Sobram dois. E foi 1h17 de live já. Eu vou tentar ler esses dois. Vamos ver até quando que dá a minha voz, né? Pior que a live tá ficando vermelhinha aqui pra mim. Será que tá tendo queda? Bom, vou continuar. Tá dando trovão? Não, não tá não. Não tá chovendo. Já parou de chover. Vamos lá que isso aqui tem bastante gente falando. Hey, am I interrupting anything? Hey, Dave. No. Arqueus and I were just exchanging some notes before I bring the meeting to order again. Okay, I just thought I would saunter over here. Things are getting pretty Lalonde heavy over there. It really is an awful lot of fucking Lalondes, isn't it? 2 is okay, or actually cool even, but this? Yeah. Time to see what's up over here. How is it going there, bro? Quill Sprite. Nearly finished radically downgrading Crocker here. I then plan on mourning the complete restoration of her woeful inferiority with a moment of silence, subtle flexing. Okay, that was some weird stuff to say, but cool. So, you are some sort of freak, right? Yeah. Okay, good to know. It's like talking to someone who is half my bro, but then not even really. The half bro is half AI or something, so maybe 1/4 bro, but then maybe even less, cause like alt universe considerations and also part sprite. I am notorious for being fucking sensational at mathematics, but I don't think I could break it down for you without lying about the precision of my figures. which is a practice I am by no means above, mind you. Yeah, the bottom line is, I can tell you're just a really watered down version. Or maybe sweated down. Why the fuck are you so sweaty? I'm not. I thawed off less than a minute ago. Oh god. Sir Dave, there's much we could talk about, en route to waxing hard, sentimental about our dubiously shared fraternal past. The fact that I will not shouldn't be mistaken for preoccupation with this delicate cyber task, which is trivial to me since my mind is a faultless silicon mesh of living algorithmic perfection. Neither should I be ascribed to the fact that my true identity finds the notion of a reunion with you to be boring as a fiddling fruit. It is mainly that such a bonding experience strikes me as an endeavor falling outside my totally ripped and kick to choose purview. Brother times with real Dave would best be left to the custody of real Dirk. Not to mention, someone who gives at least greater than half a stupid shit about you. Swoon. You know, I'm kinda glad you sound this insane and for the most part barely understandable. It makes it extra obvious you aren't my legit bro, which means I can actually talk to you while only being like vaguely confused and unsettled instead of curling up into a ball and having some sort of social conniption. Speaking of which, when is he supposed to get here, by the way? Relax, Dave. He's scheduled to arrive around the same time as all the other bad guys. You still have time. I could have expedited his arrival, but I knew that meeting him was going to be a big deal for you, so I decided to let you have some space while we made some plans. See, I'm always thinking about what's good for you guys and what's best for the overall strategy. Keeping everyone in high spirits is important. What do you mean expedited? Never mind that, just chill out. Alright. So, as long as I'm supposedly chilling and in no way wondering about my bro, are you sure there are no beverages in that fridge? No AJ or... It's a blind alley, brother dog. I already asked if she had milk in there once, plus another 9 redundant times after that. I also asked if she would like to touch my muscles. The answers were that 10 no's and 1 yes. That reminds me, Dave, would you like to touch my muscles? Maybe later. So you're sure there's nothing to drink in there? Yes, Dave. Don't know why I'm so insistent. Not like my fridge ever had anything comestible inside. Why the fuck did you even bring it? Don't worry about it. Oh, come on. Gams is in there. E lá vamos com o... Oh, right. Somehow I forgot that we literally just established that you had Yamzi locked in there for some reason. You sure we shouldn't maybe let him out? He could suffocate in there. He'll just revive. Got your style, right? He's not a fucking god tier. He's faking it. He just made that fucking suit from scratch or something. I know he's complete trash, but maybe we should just let him out. What's the harm? It's not like he can cause much trouble. We all way outnumber him and have way more powers and shit. No. Oh, well, no. We will not ever be hearing from him again. No. Never, never, never again. Never. Wow. So you're just gonna let him suffocate in there then? Dave, give me a little more credit than that. Genzi is supposedly relevant to some stuff that's going to happen in the new universe. He's still got some plot armor or some shit. So when Earth is resituated, I'm just going to drop the fridge in the fucking ocean or something and let him find his own way out. Okay, that's fair. I mean, firm, but fair. Well, maybe not that fair, but I guess I don't care. So, is just Hot Mom awake yet? No. I mean, hot. Not Hot Mom, just Mom. Damn. Did anyone hear that? Yes. Shit. Let's reboot all trains of thought starting now. How much longer till this hot mom's away? Mom? I mean his, not mine. His mom, not my hot mom, my mom. I mean, fucking hell, not my mom, his John's hot mom. Jesus! The Strider Express is off the rails again, so I'm going to duck out of this conversation. See you, everybody. No, VRISKA, don't go. At least do me the solid of letting me land squarely on some phrases that allowed some plausible deniability over whether I think John's mom is super fucking hot. Shit, wait. Pretend I didn't say that while still rendering its meaning in your mind somehow. VRISKA's gone, I'm not even talking to anyone. Dave! Forgive me if I'm missing some nuance here, but it sounds to me as if you believe John's mother is physically attractive. Okay, now you're just twisting my words around. What would John think? Okay, that's an interesting thought, but hear me out. What if we run an experiment and spend the rest of our lives finding out what happened if we never told him? I will consider your request for secrecy. Maybe. Frankly, I'm not sure she's anything to write home about. What? Oh, what the fuck? Are you on the idiot drugs today? Melhor frase que eu li hoje. How could you possibly be serious about that? How is this unconscious teen grandmother not a completely smoking babe? I guess she is not my container of scalding leaf fluid. No, I don't even believe you. You're obviously just trying to rile me up by going against the grain of flagrantly obvious babe facts. Is Dave saying inappropriate things about John's mother over there? No, I'm not saying anything. Just standard casual observations from a regular bystanding person. He keeps calling her hot. Wow. Peddle lies much? I guess reprehensible dishonesty is all the rage with the troll kids today. Wait, what's going on? Are we all talking about how hot Jane is? No. Maybe. Jane is a straight-up sexual fox riding a red-hot nuclear bombshell right toward the Yowza place in the heart of Babe City, Massachusetts, USA. The last A just stands for more S. Thank you for defending the position I may or may not have been arguing for moments ago. No comment. Hey, are you guys talking about me? What's going on? Nope. LMAO. Dave thinks her mom's hot. What? Goddamn, Terezi. Oh, essa foi rápida. Hey. Mr. Jake Harley, I presume? No, it's English, actually. It was my grandma's surname. Oh, my mistake. So then, is it just a coincidence that she had the same name as an invincible supervillain? Are coincidences even real? I don't know. The history is a little murky to me. I heard she took the name from a nasty fellow to spite a wicked baroness. Okay, good to know. It's been interesting to learn how, even though we are all pretty similar, we all had a lot of really different life details. I guess so. Like, there are all these things I take for granted about Jade's childhood, which in theory is similar to yours, but not really. She had a super powerful dog you didn't have, and also a grandpa you couldn't have had because that was grown-up you. I'd be really curious to hear about all the differences in your life sometime, if you don't mind. Sure. Hell, I'd be really curious to hear about the differences in my alt life, so to speak. But Jane is asleep. I'm guessing she grew up in a similar situation I did, but with a bunch of differences. Guess I'll just have to wait. Well, she was a good friend. I know lots of stuff about her life. What do you want to know? Oh, let's see. So, I was her grandpa instead of her being my nana? I'm not sure if that statement made sense, but you know what I mean. Yeah, she had a pop-up. He was a really funny and beloved old-time comedian, so I guess that is the guy you grew up to be? Cool. I never knew my nana growing up, except as an urn of ashes above the fireplace. I only met her as a sprite. Was I dead? Or was he? Yep. But he wasn't ashes, they had a different way of preserving him, which I think was arguably more dignified. How? Have you seen Wicked at Bernie's? No? I've heard of it though. Oh man, you have to see it! It's about a couple of knuckleheads who parade around a funny corpse trying to pass him off as a living friend and good time Charlie over a series of escapades. Sounds incredible. I still have it if you want to see it sometime. Definitely. So, you like movies? Do I? I love movies too. There are a lot of bunch. There are a whole bunch I'd want to show you, assuming you haven't seen them already. I love talking about them with people. I think my friends usually just humored me about the movies I liked, but I have a feeling you'd really dig them. Oh, I guarantee you I would. Awesome. I can't wait to show you some. So, that means Jane had an old man corpse version of me around somewhere, like in her house. Yeah. Okay, that sounds pretty preposterous to me, but I guess she must have grown up thinking it was normal. Not really. She was always pretty put off by it, to be honest. Poor Jane. I have to apologize to her for freaking her out from beyond the grave. What was her life like otherwise? Pretty typical, I'd say. She always characterized it as boring. But I never agreed, really. She got to live on the mainland with access to all kinds of things I didn't have. Plus, she lived with a cool and manly father who cared about her a lot and seemed like a stand-up gent. Oh, she lived with her dad too? Do you know anything about him? Not much other than what I just said and a few things she told me. I think he was stern and fatherly and dressed well. Uh, if memory serves, he was a private detective at one point. A private detective? Wow. It sounds like he must have been a completely different kind of dad from the other one I had. All these differences are so interesting. Some are subtle, but some are drastic, like this one apparently is. It would be neat to meet him. I mean, not that it would be much of a substitute for getting to see my dad again, since they are totally different people, but you know what I mean. Do you know what happened to him? I'm not sure. I kinda lost track of him for a while. I think he might be in jail. Jail? Yeah, Anders. I think. I could be wrong though. I'll make a mental note to check on him sometime soon. I bet Jane would want to too when she wakes up. I'll ask her about it. Good idea. You know, Jake, at first you seemed pretty shy, but you don't really seem that way at all now. You just strike me as a nice regular dude who likes movies and stuff. I'm glad we are getting a chance to talk. Yeah, me too. I've been feeling way out of sorts since I got sprung from the big house and dragged along to this here frog stage to suddenly bump gums with way too many people.
Watermelon sugar.
But you're really good company, John. And you know how to make a guy feel at ease. Yeah, it's a lot of people. I'm having trouble keeping track of everyone myself. They all seem like decent folk and all, but I guess everyone catching me at a bad time. This wasn't how I pictured things going at all. How were you picturing it? Naively, I suppose. It's not that I was expecting differently of anyone else, more that I had spurious visions of my own conduct. Remember the letter I sent you? Yeah? All the excitement and swagger you heard from me in those words? That's the man I thought I'd be when you met me. A man of action and gumption. Hell, then I wrote that I. Well, hell, when I wrote that I thought by now maybe people would even have come to see me as a leader. What a laugh. I turned out to be such a disappointment to myself and everyone else. The bravado in that letter was fake, I've realized lately. I've realized a lot of things. That I could never be a leader or a people person or probably ever have a quality relationship with someone. So it's hard to get up a lot of moxie for a big moment like this, even though I'm as excited about it as everyone else. Tavros Sprite already tried cheer me up, and he's nice, but I don't think it worked. Like by saying maybe all that stuff isn't true, and maybe I'm actually really great in all the ways I don't think I am. It's a nice though thought, but also it weirdly just doesn't make me feel any better. John, you seem like the kind of guy who likes trying to cheer up a pulse, so I guess just so you know, someone already tried telling me I was wrong and it didn't work. I don't think you're wrong though. Well, I don't know. We just met. What could I know about you other than what you tell me? I believe you about all that. Really. It just sounds to me like you were going through a lot of changes. Changes are good, especially if you understand that's what's happening to you. I think that's how we grow and stuff. I think I've changed in a lot of ways. Some ways that weren't easy. Yeah? Sure. So, you're realizing you like being by yourself, it sounds like. Big deal. I like being alone a lot of times too. It helps me think. If that's who you are, there's nothing wrong with that. Jade's grandpa liked being by himself too. So much so that he moved to an island as far away from civilization as possible. But he still did adventurous stuff and was super successful and also raised a cool granddaughter who was actually his daughter and I guess also yours. Huh. Yes, I guess you're right. And if nothing else, at least you have a cool costume. You you really like it? Hell yeah. Wow, thanks. Sometimes I worry that I might look like a little silly and feel kind of exposed maybe, like I'm on sexy display or such and people don't see me as a person. I wouldn't worry about that. I love the god tier
Pajamas?
and yours are badass. You look like a superhero. Really? Yes. Well, maybe a plucky sidekick at least. Sidekicks are really underrated anyway. I think in some cases they might be the real stars, like, Batman. Truth be told, I think he might just be some kind of gallivanting idiot. Faltou mesmo, né? He's got all the money and skills in the world, and what does he do? He buys a fancy car to drive around in, then jumps out and starts punching crooks with his bare hands. Then, when he gets hornswoggled by a willy clown with no powers and a lot less money. You has to bail him out? Who has to bail him out? His sidekick, of course. Yeah, you're right. What is Batman even trying to prove? Being all serious and cool looking. His sidekick looks like he has a lot more fun and smacks of confidence and self assurance trotting around in his underpants. Batman probably doesn't even care much about stopping crime. It's more about walloping thugs and getting to feel cool. If he really cared about stopping bad guys, he'd probably use his fancy money to buy guns and at least show the criminals he's packing to make them scared, if not surrender outright. I bet his sidekick probably just has to wait for Batman to bungle things up with his stupid karate, and when he gets in trouble, the sidekick just guns down all the crooks from a safe distance like a sensible person. Well, I do love guns. Also, fisticuffs. See? There you go. You're better than Batman already. Whisper, 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 whisper. Hold on. Shh, listen. Whisper, whisper, Mayor. Whisper, 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 Cantown. Whisper, whisper, but where? Whisper, whisper, Earth. Whisper. Whisper, 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 to scale? Don't see how whisper, whisper, whisper. If you're really going whisper, 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 build whisper, whisper, haha. He's talking to the mayor again. So it seems. They really appear to have quite a rapport. I just love how he talks to the mayor. It's like he made up this whole language of like minimal talking and hand gestures. It's so cute. Egbert, what the fuck? Were you eavesdropping? No, this is a fucking private conversation. Stop being rude garbage. I wasn't eavesdropping. You just happened to be like right there. And you're a really loud whisperer. Oh, okay then. Here, have an excessively quiet shut the fuck up. Sorry. Nossa, dos mínimos momentos que o Carcat usa texto minúsculo. Go back to your cute mayor conference.
Watermelon sugar.
We'll mind our own business. Achoo! Achoo! Oh man, what's going on now? Achoo! Meow! Achoo! Why? Achoo! Why does your losers need achoo to be here? Achoo! My allergies. Jaspers? What are you... Wait a minute. Ah, eu tenho som pra isso.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
Rose, is that you? Meow! Oh my god. I turn my back for 2 seconds and something stupid happens. Achoo! Ok, gente, eu acho que eu li tudo, hein? Eu li esse, 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 esse e esse. Ufa! Okay, everybody, time's up. Wrap up your conversations. Our tactical meeting is officially back in order. Alright, has everyone shut up yet? I think so. Great! Let's not waste another second then. I'm diving right into this. Everyone, pay close attention and try to keep up. I'll start by describing the exact nature of the threats we're dealing with and go from there. Coringast. According to intelligence gathered during our trip, along with some reconnaissance work on arrival, this session has 4, possibly 5 major adversaries. The Countess, of course, and 3 Jack Noirs of varying levels of danger. Plus, there is a female suspicion of equivalent power to the strongest Jack. She is sort of an X factor. It's hard to accurately gauge her threat level, but I'm not about to take any chances. All these threats are just outside the incipit and route to the session as we speak. Once they arrive, all hell will break loose. That's when endgame is officially go. You only have a couple hours to prepare, so you need to listen to every word I say. Victory will depend on following my plan to the letter. So, where's Candace right now? She's on Durst, preparing for the same critical convergence herself. After our little prison raid caught her completely off guard, costing her some hostages and key points of leverage, we've essentially reached a temporary ceasefire by default while both sides regroup. This is not how she expected things would go. We had the advantage of surprise that time, but we won't be so lucky next time. She's waiting for the Jacks to get here just like we are. Once they do, she'll instantly have the upper hand, and she knows this. Her particular combination of abilities along with her supervillain-like cunning make her an extremely dangerous part of this equation. That's why we need a good strategy in place before the shit hits the breeze blender. So, in addition for waiting for way too many Jacks to get here, we're also waiting for my bro too, right? Who gets here at the same time, or... Yes. The other strider was banished to the periphery as well, and is in transit. He'll arrive at the same time, give or take, and should be a great tactical asset. Sources tell me the dude is pretty good with a sword. That's me. I'm the source. I told her that. And it's true. Yes, thank you, Arqueus. This is starting to sound a bit complicated. How are we supposed to get to keep track of all these villains and heroes coming and going, when and where? You're right, Kanaya. At this point in the meeting, I think we could use some diagrams to help with the battle plans. Karkit, if you wouldn't mind. I still have no idea why you put me on drawing duty. I'm easily the worst artist here. And in a setting that includes Dave, let's get real, that's no small feat. I specifically assigned you to diagramming duty so that it would keep you occupied. That way, you'd stand a chance of keeping your mouth shut while I talk strategy. That's worked out great so far, hasn't it? We've lost how many strategy seconds to me complaining about drawing already? Sure, but I know that drawing requires a lot of concentration from you. Once you're in the zone, I expect you'll simmer down. Oh, fuck you. You're probably right, but fuck you nevertheless. Where the shit is my art pencil? I have some drawings to do. Okay, we have the Incipisphere, the Strider, Dogs, her Imperious Condescension, Skya, we are here, Other Jack, and Jack. Let's run down the threat list with a full debriefing on each threat. We'll start with the big fish herself, the former empress of our world, her imperious condescension. The only reason we've been able to temporarily neutralize her stranglehold on this session is by taking two major pieces away from her, Harley and Crocker. Rest assured, she's already scheming to reassert her dominance. And if it weren't for my intervention here, I'd bet everything I had on the Sea Witch. She spent centuries upgrading her abilities, which now include both kinds of telekinesis. The simpler variety more common to Rustbloods, and the nasty kind which sometimes yellow-blooded mutants have involving all that fucking eye lasers and shit. If that weren't enough, she has a mix of telepathic abilities too, like mine, plus the animal communion kind more typical of brown bloods, like me. Yes, Stavros, like you. This means she can hijack animals and trolls, assuming they aren't particularly resistant to influence like me, obviously. Humans, I'm guessing, are still off limits to her influence, unless they've got some animal blood in them, which is what makes Jade such a dangerous element here. One of the mission critical priorities is to make sure she stays asleep. If she ever wakes up and the Candace takes control again, that's probably game over for you guys. Jade's first garden abilities make her too much to deal with on top of everything else. It's also possible that the Candace may have some sway over the Prospition and one of the Jacks, because of their part dog nature too. It's hard to say what their level of resistance is, so I really can't be sure. Strategically, it's best to err on the safe side though, and presume this could be an issue. This is why taking on the Candace has to be a huge priority. Ideally, you should be trying to kill or disable her as quickly as possible, but if that's easier said than done, then what you need to do is keep her occupied. Throw everything you have at her, whatever crazy powers you've got. Just keep her busy, distracted enough by a bunch of pesky kids so she won't have time to get clever with her powers. This is the best defense against the off chance she might be able to sway the Dog Jack and Prospition, and a failsafe in case Jade wakes up for whatever reason. When it comes to killing her, I don't have much to advise. There's no intel on her weaknesses or anything like that. In fact, I'd bet she doesn't have any. Like any powerful endgame boss, you just have to keep hammering away at her until she's dead. Enough said. This brings us to the Jacks. To differentiate, I'll give them nicknames. There's Dark Jack, Lord Jack, and Robo Jack. Let's talk about them in order of threat level. Carkit, I'm going to need another shitty drawing, this time of Dark Jack and his suspicion counterpart, please. Oh yes, I see you are intent on being a wiggler about this, as we have all come to expect. Whatever, I've been working within the confines of everyone's stupid limitations already, so I might as well work around yours as well. Criativa. There, perfect. Dogjack is easily the most powerful adversary of the bunch, in terms of pure physical capability. The Countess has the edge in guile and flexibility, and Lord Jack has a ton of offensive power too. But there's nothing quite like the First Guardian abilities to give someone an overwhelming tactical advantage. The ability to teleport anywhere in the session anytime or anyone anywhere anytime, while having access to an inexhaustible power supply from the Green Sun really makes it no contest, even against the otherwise awesome combatant. If it were just him you had to deal with, I wouldn't like your odds, honestly. But luckily for us, there's a major factor here which should mostly neutralize him during this huge melee, which is the Perspition. Power-wise, she's a precisely even match for him, and better yet, she apparently can't stand the guy. I still don't know what her real motives are, but you know what they say. Enemy of my enemy and all. So I say let her have at him, and if the opportunity presents itself, help her defeat him. I will also give this bit of advice. If Jade ever wakes up and the Countess is sufficiently preoccupied, make sure Jade goes nowhere near the Countess and seek her on Dogjack. She's the only one here whose abilities are on par with his, so that's where they're best applied. Got it? Good. Next, Lord Jack. Carkit, kiss my shame globes. How does this look? Great! I think I can work with this. Kiss my shame globes. Ai, gente, eu vou deixar essa explicação para a próxima live, tá? Eu vou falar para a próxima sessão. Nossa, hoje rendeu também. Meu Deus. A taxa de bits ficou toda cagada nessa live. Eu espero que isso não dê tanto problema. Mas acho que não vai dar, não. Mas tudo bem. Muito obrigada, gente, pela companhia de todos vocês. Espero que vocês tenham uma ótima noite, um bom continuação de semana. Eu ia falar continuamento, mas enfim. E que dê tudo certo, né? É nóis. Todos fiquem bem, se cuidem direitinho. Desejem melhoras pra Nana lá no Discord, que ela estava com coliquitas e não pôde fazer live hoje. E é isso. Como eu disse, estarei no Discord. E a Watch Party de Doctor Who de domingo vai rolar no Discord. Então, se você ainda não estiver lá, bora entrar que a gente assiste Doctor Who juntinhos no domingo, às 3 horas da tarde. Essa semana podia ser igual bola de basquete. Kika? Não entendi. Agora você me perdeu. E só porque não teve hoje, vamos colocar aqui, ó.
Cavalo.
É pior que cavalos!
Tá bom. Cair logo na sexta. Ah, Rica, suave. Essa foi ótima. Parabéns. Caralho, meu irmão. Tudo bem. juízo. Até a próxima quarta-feira, ou seja lá que dia eu vá aparecer aqui. Muito obrigada por terem ficado e adiós! Bye, bye!